Okay, welcome back. I hope everybody had a chance to read all of the books that were from my last video, because and honestly you should have had enough time because I slacked. Oh my god. I was supposed to make one of these videos last month. We saw how that went. It didn't. So I decided that I'm not going to do it specifically monthly, like legit every single month, because I don't want to have anybody have any high expectations for me to get out a book video and me not have it out in time. So we're also going to try to make this one 10 times shorter than my last one. Okay. So my first one is probably one that literally everybody and their brothers have already probably heard of and / or read. It's The Secret. This book my mother lived off of. This was her holy grail, so obviously it became my holy grail. And she actually got me the teen version, because go her. So yeah, she actually got me the teen version. I'm not really sure what this is, but from the looks of it, it's Amanda's handwriting. Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong. Thanks, darling. No. It's just about positive things. My next book is actually a book that I got from the Tattered Covered Bookstore, and it was one of those moments where I was in the book section where I wanted to be, like where I knew I was going to get a book somewhere, and I was just kind of like zink, and whichever one my eyes landed on and like stuck the most was one that I was going to buy. So I was just looking around and all of a sudden my eyes were like, thus do they deceive me? And I saw this and my eyes like were stuck to it. And as many people know, I'm way more spiritual than I am religious. So seeing Living with the Wild God, I was like, Sarah, no, you're not going to enjoy it. But I really did. And the reason is because of the author. I really connected with her is kind of basically what I'm trying to get at. So just the things that she started noticing when she was young. Oh, yes. Here's why. Because in the beginning, she talks about how she is a child atheist, and that is the definition of my life. So I caught on to this book within the 5th page, and I absolutely loved it. And it's more of like the way she thinks and like how she sees the world, and it completely changes the way you see the world. It's a really, really good book. Whether or not you're religious or not, I would really, 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 really recommend it. Hell yeah. My next one is way more of a dark and twisted one. Way more strange than The House of Leaves, but right around the same alley as The Dumb House that I talked about in my last video about just weird individuals. Yes, so this is called The Wasp Factory, and it's very, very strange. It's about a boy and his life, and he likes doing little experiments and killing things and collecting their bodies, and yeah, it's very interesting. It's less than 200 pages, and it's a book that has you on your toes, and you're just like, what the heck? There were seriously parts of this book where I was like, and I'm not gonna lie, there were parts in The Dumb House where I was like, but if you're really into like weird books, I would recommend this. Yes, because most of you guys know it's hard for me to get attached to the like happy character books. Make them weird or like educational. But my last two, this is like hands down one of my absolute favorites. Like my absolute freaking favorite. It's an amazing book. It's called The Psychopath Test. And the reason why I love it so much, again, it's decently sized. This one is over 200 pages. It's almost 300 pages. But I finished this one so quickly, and I'd read it for hours every day. But it's by John Ronson, and it's really interesting because he's like, it's like this is his little journal. It's not like he made up the characters in the book. He is the character, like this is his book, and he talks about like his experience working with psychopaths and like working in that industry, the workers there, how people who run the nation are really psychopaths. Jesus Christ, just like this book is amazing, and you learn why people who are ahead of this game are ahead of the game, and why like people who are like leaders are legit psychopaths. Like, and then I'm not kidding you, there's times where you're reading this book and you're like, oh my god, I myself am a damn psychopath. Oh my god. But no, I'm serious. This is a really, really good book. This is like my top second one out of all of these. Yes. Really, 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 really good. Really good. And it's really informational. Like, oh my god, I like wrote all over it. There's pictures in it. So okay. So my very, very last one is one that is actually very amazing, and one that I think the man who wrote it is like my other half. I'm not gonna lie. The way I found out about this book was that I actually had to go see a neurooptometrist, which is a eye doctor that deals with issues you have in your brain and your vision after a brain injury. So I would see him a lot, and he was like the most amazing individual I have ever met in my life. Like, I'm so serious. I know in a lot of my videos I say that like everybody comes into your life for a reason. Like, bless this man for coming into my life. But the second I started telling him about like the experience I was having with after my brain injury, the things I was going through, la da 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 da, I had to get prism glasses and this and that and the other. Oh my god, it was crazy. And so he was like, you have to read this book. And I was like, okay, write down this book, because I'm obsessed with books. And it was funny because, short little quick story, when I walked in, he saw me reading House of Leaves, and he was like, what are you going to school for? And I was like, hey, lol, joke on you, I'm not going to school. But I was like, no, I'm actually just reading to read. I know it's strange, but yeah. And he's like, well, that's a big book, what's it about? And I was like, oh god, don't ask. For those of you who have read it, you know that you don't even know where to start. It's just about a house and a man and a family in hell. But no, seriously. And then he was like, oh, so you like books? And I was like, yes, any book, guaranteed, I'll read it. Just tell me the name. So he gave me a couple books, and this was like the #1 book that I just shit my pants every night I read it. But it is called The Ghost in My Brain. And in the middle it says, how a concussion stole my life and how the new science of brain plasticity helped me get it back. So not only are you basically a PhD student after you finish reading this book, but if you're like me and you have a brain injury and you've been in like the same situation as me and this guy in this book, we can all just stand in a circle and hold hands and just close our eyes, because like, oh my god, I'm not kidding you. Everything that I have gone through after my accident and after having a brain injury and dealing with going freaking crazy, literally thinking you're schizophrenic, this guy, like, this is a book where he wrote in first person talking about his experiences literally with his brain injury. And I was like, the whole entire time, because he gets prism glasses like me, the way he explains, the way he sees through the prism glasses is like me. Like, oh my, I seriously was like, if I ever felt alone, I could just pick up this damn book and know this guy is struggling just like I am. So, and even if you don't have a brain injury, read this book and like you'll step foot into my life and like probably thousands of other people's lives, and you will be shocked. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, when you go through something, like, I'm so glad that this book was like a thing, and I'm so glad my neurooptometrist showed this to me, because I was like, holy crap, you believe me, you know what I'm going through, there's other people, like an actual guy. Like, sometimes I didn't think doctors would believe the things that I would say that I was going through, because I did, I sounded crazy, and then I read it, and it was happening to this guy, and he was saying how crazy he thought, and he was like, he's 12 times older than me, and all this stuff, and like, I was just like, oh my god, you're living my life. Like, it was just amazing. And the craziest part was that he didn't even go through as tragic of an accident as I did. He like just rear-ended somebody. So it's just crazy, because that even proves that like a concussion and a brain injury, it doesn't matter how you receive it, like every situation is different. It's just amazing. Okay, I'm not gonna get all excited and have a heart attack over it right now, on camera especially. But yes, this book is just amazing. Like, I read it in probably one day, I'm not kidding you. I even had my dad read it. He read it, and it really opened his eyes, I think. It really kind of like showed him, hey, listen, she isn't crazy. So yes, I would recommend this to everybody, especially if you have a brain injury. Like, holy crap, get your damn hands on this book and you will thank me. So yes, that is all of the books that I wanted to talk about today. I'm really trying to make this video really quick, because I hate how long my videos are. So thank you so much for watching, and please leave any comments, any books down below. I promise I will read them all. A bunch of you guys have put some really good books down, and I swear to God, I'm reading almost 99% of them over there. So if there are any other books that anybody wants me to read, Please put them down. Deuces.